Hello, everybody. I'm David Shuster. The list of Republicans speaking out against Donald Trump continues to grow, and it is thanks in part to the example set by Utah Senator and former GOP presidential nominee Mitt Romney.
Yeah, I've made it very clear that I don't want Donald Trump to be the next president of the United States, and you're going to have to do the very difficult calculation of what that would mean. All right, my own view is that I want to continue to have a voice in the Republican Party following this election, because I think there's a good shot that the Republican Party is going to need to be rebuilt and reoriented either after this election or Donald Trump is reelected after he's the president. And believe I will have more influence in the party by virtue of saying it as I've said it. So I'm not planning on changing the way I've described it, but shouldn't be terribly hard, given the fact that I voted twice to convict him in the impeachment trials, which would have prevented him from actually running again. I think where I stand on Donald Trump is pretty clear.
Where he stands, though, is a little different from what he says, which is a bit opaque. Romney will not vote for Trump, but he refuses to say, at least publicly, that he will vote for Kamala Harris. Romney's effort to straddle the line has drawn criticism from some former Republicans. Former Republican Congressman Joe Walsh, whose career ended after his full-throated opposition to Donald Trump, is accusing Romney of hedging in this election and trying to have it both ways. However, Romney may not be as motivated by political positioning as much as personal family concerns. Romney has expressed fears for the safety of his loved ones if Donald Trump wins a second term. And Romney's biographer, McKay Coppins, says that Romney does not want his family to be a leading target for Trump and MAGA world retribution efforts.
Mitt Romney knows that he would be on that enemies list. He's worried about protecting his family. He said, I have 25 grandkids. How do you protect 25 grandkids?
Right.
It's a real concern. And I think it's a pretty stark reminder of where we are as a country, that the 2012 Republican presidential nominee is so worried, afraid about what it would mean for his personal safety, his family's safety, if the current Republican nominee wins.
Well, think about the safety of Donald Trump's own vice president.
Yeah.
Mike Pence.
Exactly.
Not exactly, who hasn't endorsed Donald Trump either.
The fears of Pence, Romney, and other anti-Trump Republicans may be increasing. And that's because Donald Trump, who has vowed to act as a dictator on day one of a potential second term, recently threatened on his Truth social media platform to imprison people he deems involved in unscrupulous behavior. Trump wrote, "Please be aware that this legal exposure extends to lawyers, political operatives, donors, illegal voters, and corrupt election officials. Those involved in unscrupulous behavior will be sought out, caught, and prosecuted at levels unfortunately never seen before in our country." And never mind Donald Trump's rants on social media, Trump has also vocalized his campaign promise to target those who stood in the way of his path to the White House.
I know a lot of Republicans who want retribution. They want to do that. We're going to see what happens.
It's a terrible, terrible path that they're leading us to. And it's very possible that it's going to happen to them.
Revenge does take time, I will say that.
It does.
And sometimes revenge can be justified.
Sometimes revenge can be justified. Well, in most political circles, revenge takes the form of snubbing a political enemy in your own party by denying them a role or job in a new administration. Or in more extreme cases, it involves denying government assistance to places led by people who voted against you. But the prospect of actually prosecuting and trying to jail your political opponents because they opposed your candidacy or said you are unfit to hold office, well, that takes retribution to a new extreme, at least in America. In the past, even if a U.S. president wanted to prosecute his domestic enemies and rivals, the neutrality of the Department of Justice put the brakes on such efforts. But if Trump wins the White House again, his Project 2025 explicitly calls for putting Trump loyalists in charge of the Justice Department and FBI and using federal law enforcement resources to target Trump rivals and enemies. Also, the U.S. Supreme Court ruling on presidential immunity means a president cannot be held legally responsible now for unlawful actions as long as the actions are official government duties. In other words, instead of a President Trump shooting a rival himself, as long as President Trump does it through SEAL Team 6, the CIA, or other government agencies, Trump is in the clear. So with all of this, it is understandable why some anti-Trump Republicans are nervous. And for Mitt Romney, it's apparently one thing to say you are not voting for Trump. It's a different level if you go a step further and publicly declare you are voting for Harris. Similar calculations are being made by anti-Trump Republicans across the spectrum. A few, like Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger, are going full bore in their support for Harris. Others, like Romney and Mike Pence, are trying to create fewer waves. All of this underscores, though, that our nation is going through political tensions that are unprecedented in modern U.S. political history. And the once proud Republican Party, the grand old party, the party of Lincoln, has become a nightmare full of recriminations, fear, and potential tyranny.
I think there's a good shot that the Republican Party is going to need to be rebuilt and reoriented.
What a mess. I'm David Shuster. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. If you become a member, you get to watch all this ad-free, except for, of course, this ad. Still, hit the join button below.